Hello, and welcome to my channel where we may be dazed, but we are not confused. We are going to do a hindsight reading for the element of air. So the purpose of these readings is to take a look at something that you may have realized in retrospect and get some advice moving forward. Take a look at the timestamps below, find the video that resonates with you the most deeply, and I will see you there. We are going to do a hindsight reading for the sign of Aquarius. So the purpose of this reading is to take a look at something that you might have realized in retrospect, and to also get some advice about what we can do moving forward to incorporate some of what we realized so that we can move into our future feeling empowered and with a sense of wisdom about what does and does not work for us, okay? So, Aquarius, it appears that when you look back in hindsight at something, you recognize that you were not able to live life to the fullest. Maybe because you had a very serious demeanor about things. Maybe you were working a lot or overworking, but whatever the case, you had this sense that you needed to take time for yourself. You needed to allow yourself the space in the room to breathe. You needed to have the space to feel as if you could go in any direction that you wanted to go into, or that you could go explore and have adventures and just relax and connect with nature. However, I'm picking up very strong energies of restriction here. You may have felt as if you may have had an authority figure. This could be a boss. This could be some type of relational interaction that you felt was kind of hindering you and limiting your ability to be connected with your sense of personal joy and being able to relax and being able to explore and just, let your hair down and breathe. I feel like as a result of this, you realize that you just kind of let your emotions disconnect, like you just kind of became disconnected and numb to it almost, to where you got so used to it that you just didn't even accept or expect rather that was even an option for you. I feel a very caged in vibe, and this is very different for Aquarius because Aquarius likes to ironically likes some detachment, but they also like to have a sense of freedom. So it's detachment, and if ever there's a sense of isolation or not being able to interact, it's chosen intentionally because the option that's available with which to connect just isn't cutting it, or it's not a good fit. And so Aquarius would rather take that time and be outside and alone if need be in order to have that sense of being authentic to itself. But this does not come across like this. This to me is like a sense of just not feeling very abundant, feeling like you don't have access to opportunities, and also feeling like there's no greater thing to connect with that would even be able to offer any kind of relief, like just kind of being stuck, and there's like no help coming, and there's no sense of getting a break, but kind of being caged in. I'm hearing, I know why the caged bird sings, if that means anything to someone here, okay? So let's go ahead, let's take a look at what your advice is moving forward. So I feel as if what you're realizing is that you are very restricted from connecting with and taking an active part in creating the life that you want it to lead. And moving forward here, I have the card, the perfection of your life. And I see this as saying that looking at the situation at ground level can look one way, but if you take a step back and you look at the bigger picture, that you can see how all things work together to create this beautiful tapestry, this beautiful picture. And also, I feel that you're seeing that instead of trying to actively make things happen a certain way, that you're seeing that you can kind of go with the flow a bit, but assert yourself just enough so that it flows in a direction that unfolds and flowers. And that itself is the beauty that you find in your life. Not getting to a specific spot or being in a specific spot, but the journey of getting there. And that's the adventure. And taking small steps that will, as you take each step that aligns with something that brings you some sense of fulfillment, some sense of joy, even in a state of lots of restriction or feeling as if you can't move or do as you please, you'll be able to make little small adjustments, micro adjustments that ultimately lead to this bigger picture that has you in alignment with exactly where you need to be, exactly with what you need to be. And so these limitations and restrictions are actually helping to shape and carve you to exactly the perfect spot that you truly want to be in, without having an overabundance of too many options and too many choices that can actually be detrimental to you because you have too many options. And not all of these options are your highest choice or your highest good. But this forces you to have to be intentional about your choices and what you do to live your life to the fullest, because you don't have a bunch of options. So that one thing that you put your effort into doing is going to more than likely be that thing that's the most in alignment with who and what you are and what it is that you're seeking. Okay. So let's read some affirmations for this card that can be helpful. Okay. It says, imagine that you are standing at the silent center of a great cleansing storm. All aspects of your life are rained upon, blown about, and even messed up a little. How do you feel? The storm then passes, and you are left with soft sunshine and slightly soggy feet. Some parts of your life will have been washed away. Some others will be strong and stable. A bit messy perhaps, but still there nonetheless. How do you feel? Underneath your feet, you see a pattern forming in the cleansed earth, as if it is rising up from the damp, slightly disturbed soil. A golden, gleaming geometric pattern of the flower of life glows. Sense the perfection of the form. See how each flower feeds into the next, in symmetry, harmony, and balance. You can finish by saying, I give thanks for the higher order of my life, which I trust implicitly, as it guides me into wholeness and love. From that which appears as chaos, new order is rising. I trust this and receive the gift of higher order in my life now. Through grace and mercy, so be it. Relax for a moment, become aware of your feet, and in your own time, go back to your day or evening. You have completed your healing process. If you are very drawn to the flower of life as a pattern, you may like to research it further and draw or color it into your journal as a visual meditative exercise. Okay. All right, Aquarius, this is the message that I have for you. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be days, but we are not confused. And until the next video, bye-bye. We are going to do a hindsight reading for the sign of Gemini. So the purpose of this reading is to take a look at something that you might have realized in retrospect, and also to get some advice about what you can do moving forward to allow you to incorporate the wisdom of the experience that you had so that you can move forward feeling empowered and able to utilize the wisdom that you've gained from your past experiences. So, Gemini, it appears that in the past, you realize that your intuition was telling you that in some situation, you were not fully grateful for the things that you had. I feel like this might have been tempered by some influences that you had around you that were perhaps kind of restrictive in nature, but it could have also been influences that made you feel as if you were missing something. It could have been influences that made you feel as if you should have been engaging more in behaviors that were kind of not in alignment with what you had, like you didn't have enough. And I feel as if you kind of knew this, like you knew that this was happening. You knew that you could have been getting led into situations that would be kind of reckless or that might not have been in your highest good. This doesn't have to be something extreme. It could be like media influences. It could be cultural influences. It could be social or peer or family influences as well. And I feel like because I have this intuition card, I feel like you knew that there was something off about it and that it was going to be reckless for you to engage in a certain way. It's very like fiery energy here. But I feel like the reason that you were tempted by this and the reason that you kind of went with it is because there was this sense that you were not getting the things that you did want. Like you were trying to make things happen and they weren't happening, and you didn't have faith that they would. And so it was just like this perfect storm of these influences telling you, oh, well, you could be doing this and you could be having that and you don't have this and people are doing this and that. And so you began to look at the things that you did have as being less than because of the things that you didn't have that you were trying to make that may not have been in your best interest or that were really not for you. And I feel as if you recognize this in hindsight. In hindsight, you are aware of this. And I feel like not only are you aware of this looking back because of the experience, but you're also aware of the fact that you kind of knew intuitively that it wasn't the case, that you did have a lot to be grateful for. So your advice that you have here for moving forward is about releasing allegiances. So to me, this is about being comfortable in your own skin. The person on this card is a woman and she's naked and she's kind of just embracing herself and she's got gold bangles on. I feel like that kind of speaks to this sense of like working oneself to a point where you value the inherent value of who you are and allowing the development of your character and your nature to occur as a result of your experiences. She has bees on her, and I feel like this is talking about like hive mind and being connected, like going with the hive, particularly if it's not something that's going to be beneficial to you or if it goes against what your actual beliefs are. I feel as if that's what you that's what you're taking out of what you learned in hindsight. Okay, so let's take a look at the affirmations here that can help us to process this moving forward. Okay, so it says that you can lie down somewhere comfortable and relax your body, because this is about connecting with the body. I feel like there could be a sense of that not being comfortable in one's own skin. Say, I love my body and my body loves me. I trust my body and my body trusts me. I love wisdom and wisdom loves me. I trust wisdom and wisdom trusts me. Sense, visualize, feel, or intend that there be a beautiful emerald green light with golden sparkling flecks of energy in it. It rises up from the earth below you and bathes your body until you are floating in an ocean of emerald green light with golden sparkling flecks of energy within it. Let it fizz and wash around you and through you, right into the cells of your being. Finally, let it form a bubble of light around you, encasing you like an egg or shell from the top of your head all the way down to the bottom of your feet, on either side of you, front and back. Let it be close enough that it feels protective and spacious enough that you can breathe easily. Take your time, and when you are ready, simply open your eyes and you have completed your healing process. Provided that you follow up and have some more time for yourself, of course. Okay. All right. So, Gemini, this is what I have for your message in your hindsight reading. I hope that this was helpful for you. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be days, but we are not confused. And until the next video, bye-bye. We are going to do a hindsight reading for the sign of Libra. So the purpose of this reading is to take a look at something that you might have realized in retrospect and to get some advice on what you can do moving forward in order to allow yourself to incorporate the wisdom of the experience so you can walk into your future feeling empowered. All right. So looking at your reading, it appears that looking back, your intuition was telling you that you needed to give yourself a chance to heal mind, body, and spirit. I just get the sense that you really had been on maybe a long journey or putting in a lot of effort into trying to reach a destination. And as things were carrying on and kind of becoming long and drawn out, you began to feel a little bit set back by it. Like, I feel like you may have even had a bit of resentment and you might have just felt tired, like you wanted to give up. However, you did not feel as if you could show this outwardly. I feel like you had to put on a strong face and keep up this facade that everything was okay, everything is easy peasy, you know, it's no sweat off your back. And it really was. It was draining, it was grueling, it was, you know, crushing your soul, and you just could not express this. You also felt like you could not receive help from others. I feel like you also may not have felt as if you had people who wanted to even connect with you like that. You may not have had time to like socialize or engage with others because you were going through this process of trying to make something happen or trying to get to a destination, and you weren't getting there. And it was just, you felt as if you were not accomplishing what you were trying to accomplish. You weren't going to reach the destination that you were trying to get to, and you needed a break, and you needed a chance to heal, a chance to just take a break. Again, I feel like you might have had some sense of feeling as if you weren't working hard, or like you didn't deserve to have help, or for people to come nurture you or offer you assistance that could allow you a chance to get some of the break that you needed, that can allow you to heal. I'm also picking up this sense that there may be people in your social circle or around you that are celebrated because of the things that they go through. Like, the more struggle that they have, the harder they work, the more that they're celebrated. So it's almost like elevating struggle, elevating strife, things that are not really in alignment with what you need, which is peace, calm, rest, and rejuvenation. Okay. So there's that sense of guilt that maybe these people would not esteem you the same if you took a break. Like, I'm hearing like there's no rest for the weary, or people that say stuff like that, don't sleep now, you've got stuff to do, things like that. So let's take a look at your advice here. And the advice that you have is to follow your own rhythm. All right. And in this card, there is a woman who is in this dress. She's naked from the top up, but she has on a skirt, and it's like swirling, like she's swirling around. And what I think of is the twirling dervishes or Sufi. And what they would do is they would swirl and swirl and swirl and get themselves dizzy and connect with God in this way, in this state. It allowed them to kind of go into a trance. And I feel like this is what you are almost needing to do. I think looking back, you realize that you almost need to put yourself under the influence of yourself, so that the influences of others are not as detrimental to your self-regard that you have. Because if people have the power to make you feel as if there's something wrong with taking care of yourself, or something wrong with wanting to be balanced, or wanting to have a healing experience, then you recognize that it's something that you need to try to snap out of. And you need to, more importantly, try to circumvent that by inserting that belief with your belief within yourself about what's important, which is your personal health, your inner and outer health. Okay. I feel both spiritually and physically and emotionally. So let's take a look at the affirmations for this card. It states to say aloud, I now release any unhealthy attachment to the structures, routines, and belief systems of others that are preventing me from accessing and honoring my inner sacred rhythms. May I be assisted through unconditional love to know the truth of my own timing. I love myself enough to give myself rest when needed. To trust in my own timing and not feel forced or rushed. I believe in myself enough to take healthy, inspired risks and action when the timing feels right for me. I trust in my inner rhythms. They are wise and helpful. Through unconditional love, so be it. You may now wish to stand up and close your eyes. Be aware of your own energy. What does it feel like now? What does your body want? Is it to move, to curl up in a ball and rest, or to open your arms and dance around the room with joy? Perhaps you would like to give yourself a reassuring hug. Take a moment now to do what is needed for yourself based on your feelings. If this is easy for you, great. If it is hard for you to know what it is that you need, even more wonderful. This means that you are open to learning something new about loving yourself, and it will become easier with practice. All right, Libra, that is what I have for your reading. I hope that this was helpful for you. Thank you for joining me on this channel where we may be dazed, but we are not confused. And until the next reading, bye-bye.